Good morning, lovely people. Come on in, find your preferred spot. We're going to get started in about 25 seconds. Good morning, everyone. Happy New Year. It's lovely to see so many bright, smiling faces on a lovely, sunny January day. My name is Crystal White. My pronouns are she and her, and I am honored to welcome you to the Ethical Society of St. Louis. We are an ethical humanist congregation. That means we are a community where people come together to explore big questions, to live with intention, and to work toward a more just and compassionate world. Today, we are beginning a new programming series called Seeking Truth. If you were here September through December, you know we wrapped up The Power of Us. So now we're transitioning to Seeking Truth, which is a season focused on how we come to understand the world using reason, evidence, and lived experience. Ethical humanism invites us to approach the world and its people with curiosity, care, and the willingness to keep learning, especially when questions are complex or deeply human. Throughout this series, we'll explore how emotion and logic work together in our search for truth. Our feelings help us to recognize what matters. Our reasoning helps us test out ideas, examine evidence, and act with integrity. When we honor both, we make wiser, more humane choices for ourselves and for our communities. And that balance is at the heart of today's platform. Our speaker this morning is Trupiano from Beacon Reproductive Health Network, an organization many of us know through our ongoing free emergency contraception kit packing efforts. That's hands-on service that reflects our shared commitment to reproductive health care. Today, Michelle will invite us to explore how compassion and evidence-based care come together in real people's lives. Whether this is your first time with us, or if you've been part of this community for years, we are glad that you're here as we begin this season of seeking truth together. And as we begin, I invite you to take a moment to silence your devices so that we can all be fully present with one another. And I love that every time I say that, I see people pull things out of their pocket and hit silent. Thank you for doing that. This morning, our musical selections feature our very own Ethical Society music director, Mike Engelhardt. Mike is a composer, producer, and educator whose work spans choral, classical, and contemporary music. Through his leadership, music at the Ethical Society helps shape the emotional and reflective arc of our gatherings, and it creates space for connection, curiosity, and shared experience. Please join me in welcoming Mike Engelhardt as he shares his first of 3 original compositions today. This first one is Purpose.
Hi, everybody. Thank you. Good morning, and Happy New Year. Woo! So I'm going to do something a little bit different today. You'll notice I'm solo at the microphone, and I'm not at the piano for this first song, and for the third song I'm going to do today as well. I'm going to share with you kind of, if you'll indulge me, I'll be singing along with tracks that I've produced, which will hopefully result in an EP that I hope to release sometime in the 2026 calendar year. So I'm going to be sort of doing a pseudo karaoke version of these tunes. With me providing the lead vocals, you'll hear a lot of other me's on the tracks as well. But yeah, so if you'll indulge me this morning. The first one is called Purpose, and it's simply about coming into my knowledge of the purpose that I have on the earth, the reason why I exist, and the destiny that I get to decide for myself. So enjoy Purpose. I'm alive, I'm a person. Okay, now what do I do? Can't decide on a version of myself to put in front of you. Then a feeling starts to rise.
Oh my gosh, it is so fun listening to you sing karaoke. It's like we have a full band, right? Also, loved the deeply humanist message of your song, Mike. Thank you. My personal New Year's wish that I always give out to others is a year filled with joy and good purpose. And I think you've started us off right there. Each week, we read our youth education core values as a way to bring us together and to remind us of our shared commitments. And today, Milo is going to come on up and read our core values. Please welcome Milo.
Every person is important in equal ways. Every person deserves to be treated fairly and kindly. I can learn from everyone. I am a part of Earth and cherish it all life upon it. I learn from the world around me by using sense, mind, and feeling. I am a member of the community which deeply on the cooperation of all people for peace and justice. I can learn from the past, build for the future. I am free to question. I am free to choose what I believe. I accept responsibility for choices and actions. I strive to live my life. My values.
Thank you, Milo, for sharing our core values with such verve and enthusiasm. These values also remind us that community members of all ages help make this place what it is. This morning, our youth are gathering in their programs to connect with one another after our winter break. So that's sharing stories, catching up, and just spending time in community with one another. They'll also be looking ahead, dreaming big about what they want to do, experience, and explore together in these coming months. Their ideas and reflections will help shape our youth programming for 2026, ensuring that our curriculum continues to reflect their voices, interests, and hopes. All right, team, it's time for you to head on downstairs and have a lot of fun. Thanks for being up here, and we'll see you after platform. Yes. Folks brought some of their holiday toys. So cute. Our next segment, Stories of Ourselves, provides an opportunity to connect with one another more deeply by learning about each other. This morning, we will hear from Claire Alexander, our Executive Director of Community Experience at the Ethical Society, who will share reflections on what it means to seek truth in community and what our new Seeking Truth series invites us to practice, both here on Sundays and in our everyday lives. Please welcome Claire.
Good morning. One of the things that I love about this community is that we all arrive here carrying so many different stories, and still often we only know a small piece of each other's story. Some of you have known me for years. I've been around for a little while. Some of you might still be learning my name. Hi, I'm Claire. And all of us, whether we realize it or not, are constantly filling in the gaps about one another. What we think, who we think someone is, what we think they're good at, what we think brought them here. Those stories we tell ourselves shape what we believe to be true. Opening words is one of the few moments we have to widen those stories, to offer a little more context, and to connect more honestly with one another. As we begin this new series on Seeking Truth, I wanted to share a story from my own life, one that taught me how complicated truth can be, especially in the context of interpersonal relationships. I grew up in a complicated family system. My parents both studied instrumental music education. That's how they met. They married and divorced 11 years later after having 2 kids, and both came out within a year of separating. I spent my entire childhood closeted with my parents, And my mom's side of the family is also Mormon. There's a whole bunch to dump on you right there, okay? So many stories for another time. Chat with me over coffee if you want to. We'll save those stories for another day. But music was a constant in my life all the time. Music and education, really. I always knew I wanted to be a music teacher, which is what I did in a previous life. I taught high school choir. What took longer was figuring out what kind of music teacher I wanted to be. In high school, I was an accomplished percussionist early on. I played in band all the way through, and my dad was my beginning band teacher in 5th grade, and also my kindergarten music teacher. Aww. I was an accomplished percussionist early on. I was the first chair timpanist in the all-district band. My freshman year. Okay, thank you. A little bit of humble bragging right there. It wasn't really humble, that was just bragging. Okay. But I was a confident percussionist early on. I felt really comfortable in that space, and band people are so fun. They're hilarious and just good people to be around. Vocally, I was a later bloomer, but I really loved singing, and I absolutely loved choir. The environment, the collaboration with other people, the community that you build, and the connections that you have with each other. I was a really serious musician. I was a strong sight reader, which was connected to my band history. I had really solid theory skills and good ears, but my voice on its own wasn't really a strong solo instrument. My sophomore year of high school, I took a vocal solo at a festival for an adjudicated rating. You sing for a judge and they give you feedback. I worked really hard and I received a 3, which is a good rating. So for context, 1 is superior, 2 is excellent, 3 is good, 4 is fair, 5 is you didn't show up. So I earned that 3. I worked for it. I was proud of doing something that was really hard, but I was disappointed that I hadn't done better. In my choir program, only juniors and seniors could audition for the all-district choir. So I had already been doing the all-district band for a couple of years, but I couldn't audition for the all-district choir until my junior year of high school. Which is probably good. I might not have made it those first 2 years. I wouldn't have. I'll just say that. Our director required weekly coachings before you went to go do your audition. At my final coaching session my junior year, my first year of eligibility, I sang my 60-second audition cut for her. She was really quiet afterward. An uncomfortably long time of quiet. And then she sighed. It was a heavy sigh. I remember how long it lasted. And she said, "Well, I could give you some things to work on for next year." I heard exactly what she meant. I went home absolutely heartbroken. That afternoon, my dad was working his second job because teachers don't get paid enough. And I was at home alone. I sang at the top of my lungs, as loud as I could. I remember screaming, trying to get sound out. I was angry. I was crying and singing at the same time. I was determined. I was trying everything I could to think of ways to get more strength out of my voice. And somewhere in that mess, something clicked. I went to a musical theater song that I felt really confident on. And then I took my aria and I sang it with the same vocal approach. And suddenly the sound was there. I had figured out some kind of connection. That year I made the all-district choir. I scored in the top 20 of the 60-person section that were auditioning for the same section as me. I'm sure that my sight reading score really helped me get there, but so did this experience. All state auditions were different. I had qualified then in being in the top 20 to audition for one of the 4 spots in the all-district choir. For the audition, we had to sing our individual voice part along with a recording of the rest of the parts. It was Exultate Justi by Viadana, which is what they still use today. And I was singing the alto part. There's this one low note at the end of a breath phrase. In vociferazione. And it was getting to that low note. I just didn't phonate that low note. And I walked out of the room thinking, that wasn't perfect. There's no way I could have made it. I knew that I did not make that audition. I was wrong. I made the all-state choir that year, and I made it again the next year. Yeah, okay, you can, sure. All right, I'll take it. Okay, sure, why not? A few months after making it that first year, I was cast as Mrs. Potts in Beauty and the Beast, and I was singing the title song on stage with the microphone and the pit orchestra for the first time. And my choir director stopped after the song was over and said, "Now I see why you made all-state choir." She meant that as a compliment. She did. I know that she did, but it did not land that way. I sung in her choirs twice a day for months between the time that I had made the all-state choir and that moment. And I heard and felt that she was still confused about why I belonged in that space. I loved her as a teacher, and those two comments were deeply painful. I still feel them today. They were powerful and formative. Human relationships are really complicated. They're messy and they're beautiful. She didn't intend to hurt me. I know that she didn't. And she did. Both of those things are true. I cared really deeply for her, and I respected her as a musician and as an educator. I'm absolutely a better musician because of her. She taught me how much words matter, especially when they come from someone we trust and respect. A few sentences can shape how we see ourselves for a really long time. Through those experiences, I learned to stay curious about those moments, to consider not only what was said, but also why it was said and how it felt. That curiosity helps me hold respect and disappointment at the same time, to remain open in conversation and collaboration rather than be closed. As we begin this series on Seeking Truth, I hope we remember that truth in relationship is rarely simple. But we can speak carefully, listen generously, and approach one another with curiosity. We are all here for a reason. We care about a better world. We care about ethical humanism, and we're all on this journey together. I look forward to seeking truth together with generosity, patience, and curiosity. Thank you.
I just want to name that if you've actually heard Claire sing, she sounds like a Disney princess. So, well done, Claire. Thank you for sharing. Please join me in welcoming Mike Engelhardt back to the stage for his second musical selection, another original piece, this one titled So Grateful.
And this one you guys get to join me on. I'm going to teach you 3 notes, and you're going to be able to sing this song. So gratitude, as I've studied positive psychology, which is a subject which we can get into more and more as we get to know each other better. Gratitude is part of the top 10 positive emotions that you can experience in a day, and it's recommended that you have a moment of gratitude every day, and then you can broaden and build on that throughout your day. So this song is simply So Grateful, and it goes like this. So grateful. Want to sing that with me? So grateful. So grateful. So grateful. That's all there is to it. So now you know the song. One of my greatest compositions in the world. But what I invite you to do now is to take a few moments and call to mind some things that you're grateful for in this moment this morning. I invite you not to reach too far for the deepest, most profound things you can ever find. It could be simple things like you had a hot cup of coffee today. Your car started and you're able to make it to Ethical Society today, right? Just call to mind some things that you're grateful for this morning, and then we'll sing this little refrain again. Okay? Take a few moments. Sing with me. So grateful. So grateful. So grateful. So grateful. Now I want you to call to mind some things that you're grateful for from last year. Happy New Year, everybody. 2025 was difficult for many of us in many ways. But it's not without things that you could be grateful for. So I want for you to reach back into 2025 now and recall some things that happened for which you are grateful. Take a few moments and we'll sing this again. Let's sing. So grateful. So grateful. So grateful. So grateful. So now I want you to think about the year to come, 2026. I don't know if you're resolution people or not, if you're goal-setting people or not, but all of you have something that you're looking forward to happening in 26. And I kind of want you to approach it with gratitude in advance, sort of a pre-gratefulness for what might come, the expectation of what might happen in 26, sort of a thanks in advance. Call to mind some of those events that are coming up, some of the things that you're anticipating happening in the next year, and we'll sing this one more time. Let's sing. So grateful. So grateful. So grateful. So grateful. Sing that one more time. So grateful. So grateful. So grateful. So grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Bear. Thank you, Mike, for such a poignant reflection on gratitude and for the year ahead. Before our main address, we're going to pause and reset our attention. In order to seek truth in a world full of information, opinions, and urgency, ethical humanism encourages us to listen carefully, to notice our reactions, and to stay present, especially when a topic or conversation is challenging or complex. I invite you to take a silent minute to settle into your seat, relax your shoulders, bring your attention to your breath. Allow your body to release tension and your mind to set aside what can wait as we prepare ourselves to listen clearly and thoughtfully. Thank you. Our speaker today is Michelle Trupiano, the Executive Director of Beacon Reproductive Health Network, an organization many in our community know through our free EC kit packing and distribution work. Michelle is a longtime advocate for reproductive freedom and healthcare as a human right. For more than 2 decades, she has worked to expand access to care, to dismantle barriers, and to shift power toward communities that have been historically marginalized. Trained as a social worker, she brings deep experience in organizing, advocacy, and coalition building, along with a strong commitment to justice and human dignity. This morning, Michelle invites us to consider how ethical care is shaped not only by data and expertise, but also by empathy, trust, and respect for people's lived realities. Please join me in welcoming Michelle Trupiano.
Good morning. And thank you so much for inviting me to speak today. I'll say this is a little bit different presentation than I normally give, but I'm really grateful to be starting out 2026 with all of you. While I've been familiar with the Ethical Society for over 20 years, I really didn't know what a humanist congregation is or does or believes. So I did what I always do when I want to understand a community a little bit better. I first went to your website. And one of the first things I saw was the invitation to pack 1,000 emergency contraception kits for Beacon Reproductive Health Network. I actually paused because there are moments when you realize you're already among your people, even before you walk through the door. I can't imagine a quicker way to feel completely at home in this space. So before I say anything else, I want to say thank you. We've long appreciated our partnership with the Ethical Society, and I'm really grateful for this opportunity. And I didn't even just do that, like that was actually already in there. I'm grateful for this opportunity to learn more about you, your community, and to imagine together how our partnership might grow even stronger in the future. We'll come back to Free EC later because it matters deeply for what we're talking about this morning. As you heard in the intro, I'm the Executive Director of Beacon Reproductive Health Network. You might know us by our former name, Missouri Family Health Council. We rebranded this year, and while our name is new, our work is not. And so I'm gonna spend just a few minutes going through who we are and what we do before I get into the heart of our conversation today. So Beacon's been around for more than 40 years. At our core, we believe that no matter who you are or where you live, you deserve the freedom to decide what happens to your body, how you care for yourself, and when or whether you grow your family. This belief isn't theoretical. It shows up in exam rooms every day. From the mom who is quietly doing math in her head, trying to figure out if she can afford groceries and her doctor's visits, to the teenager who never had real sex education but knows that they don't want to get pregnant. It shows up in moments most people never see, but that shape entire lives. We live our mission through several programs, which I'll briefly go through. So our first is Title X. Most folks don't really know Title X because it's some sort of amorphous federal program, but it's a program that's been around for over 50 years, and it ensures that anyone who wants reproductive health care can receive it, and that cost is never a barrier. It's helped millions of people across the country access the care that they need. But it's also become a political pawn. Under the current administrations, it's at real risk of being eliminated. And for many of the health centers in our network, which is over 65 sites across the state, Title X isn't just a line item. It's the reason their doors are still open. Without it, many would have to limit care or close entirely. And so we know that this is a real program that impacts real people's lives. The Right Time is a partnership with the Missouri Foundation for Health that allows us to reach even more people with education, access, and support. Between both Title X and The Right Time, that we see over 40,000 patients a year across the state, from the most rural places in Missouri to right here in St. Louis. And we know that without these programs, that there are thousands of people that would not access the care that they need to be able to choose the lives that they want for themselves. And then we have Free EC, a program many of you already know. It launched in June 2023, and in just over 2 years, we've distributed more than 80,000 emergency contraception kits across the state. That only happens because of volunteers and partners like you. Oh, here's some pictures. And then we work on policy and advocacy. Our policy priorities are rooted in something very simple: dignity. We work to expand access to birth control, defend against policies that erode care, fight for a fully funded family planning program, and protect Medicaid as a stable source of health care for millions of people. And we invite people into that work through action alerts, lobby days, and collective advocacy, because policy change doesn't happen without people. So a shameless plug, make sure that you sign up for our Action Network at the end. There'll be a QR code that you can scan to make sure that you continue to receive updates from us about ways that you can get involved. So given the focus of our work, it's probably not surprising to hear that I find myself in a highly emotional field. People have lots of feelings and opinions about reproductive health care, from who should have it, to what it should include, and whether it should exist at all. All these feelings don't always come paired with logic, which is what we'd really like to see when we talk about health care. Beacon's work is deeply rooted in logic. We traffic in data, outcomes, evidence, so much so that our standard presentation includes more than one side, literally titled Facts. Combating mis and disinformation is central to our mission. It matters deeply that people have accurate and truthful information so they can make the best decisions for themselves. We believe that our job is to make sure that people have full and accurate info so they can make choices of themselves without shame or judgment. That's why the theme of this series, Seeking Truth, feels especially relevant. And yet, if facts alone were enough, reproductive health care wouldn't be one of the most highly emotionally charged issues of our time. So I want to share some facts about our work. First, some facts about who we serve. 63% of Beacon's clients live in deep poverty. Nearly 1 in 5 clients are under the age of 25. Nearly half have no health insurance. 6 in 10 women who access contraceptive care at a Title X clinic say it's their only source of contact with the healthcare provider. And without Title X funding, many providers would limit care or close altogether. We know this because our funding was frozen for 4 months earlier this year due to the political shenanigans that were happening in DC, and that our clinics did everything that they could to keep their doors open during that 4-month time, but that they were on the precipice of closing doors across the state if funding was not reinstated. And so just some facts about birth control. You can get pregnant the first time you have sex. You can go to almost any high school in the state, and you'll actually hear the opposite. You'll hear rumors and kids talking to each other who don't have accurate information and that are spreading rumors that you can't get pregnant the first time you have sex. This is why our work is so important. Birth control is safe and effective at preventing pregnancy. Birth control doesn't cause infertility, does not cause breast cancer, and is not a one-size-fits-all. And you do not need a break from birth control in order to be healthy. This is one of the most highly popular sort of myths going around social media right now, and that we do a lot of work to combat this misinformation with facts so that people can make the decisions that are right for them, which may be to choose birth control and it may be to not choose it. We want people to make those decisions, though, based on factual information. And then just some facts about emergency contraception. So EC is a safe and effective way to prevent pregnancy after unprotected sex or birth control failure. It's most effective when taken as soon as possible. AC is not an abortion. So I trust that these slides, that these facts will resonate in this community because we have a shared application for reason and accurate information. But you might expect that those same slides are less effective in, say, a protest line outside of a Planned Parenthood, because there, emotion is the driving force and facts don't matter. So we're operating, in healthcare, we get to focus on facts and logic, but public opinion runs on emotion. So we're operating in this space of tension, constantly trying to balance logic and facts with emotion. And honestly, there's some days I don't want to balance it all. Because in my experience, emotion can cause real harm. It can fuel hatred and misunderstanding and fear. It can power mis and disinformation and keeps us from seeing the person on the other side as fully human. When emotion operates without grounding, it can erase entire experiences and communities. It complicates care, it harms people, it muddies the waters of logic and fact. But I also have to remember that emotions can be beautiful, filled with love and happiness and beauty and connection. So there are days when I think if we could just approach reproductive health care from a logical place, with empathy, healthcare would simply just be that, healthcare. Everyone would get what they need, policies would follow the evidence, they'd be upheld, and frankly, I'd be out of a job. But that's not the world we're living in. And if I'm being honest, that fantasy isn't entirely logical either. So we find ourselves back here searching for the balance, because neither Beacon nor the Ethical Society can accomplish what we hope to without it. Our work is rooted in humanity, and humans are emotional creatures, because emotions matter too. This means we don't get to choose between logic and emotion. We have to understand how they move together, how they influence one another, and what happens when one overwhelms the other. Because if we don't understand the role emotion plays in our own minds and how to navigate it, or the danger that arises when we don't, we won't be very effective at creating social change. So I want you to think about a time when emotion completely took over, when panic set in. Maybe your chest tightened. Maybe your brain wrote a future that hadn't happened yet, but it felt inevitable. I know that feeling. The fear may not have been rooted in fact, but it was real. You felt it in your body. And in that moment, you're stuck. So you reach out. And usually one of these three things happen. So the first way is you reach out and you share your experience and your deepest fear, and your feelings are ignored. That's not real. That's not going to happen. It's not like that. It's not as bad as you're making it out to be. Your emotion, your experience hits a brick wall of someone else's logic. And as certain as they are, it's not true, it doesn't help. You're still stuck in the spiral because they're not willing to wade in it with you. So the second way is you find someone who will wade in and will sit with you. Wow, you're right. That sounds absolutely terrible. This is bad. I don't know how we're going to get through this. Have you considered how this other thing that you haven't even thought about yet may make it even worse? They'll affirm your feelings and add their own, but they're not helping you move past them. So you're still stuck, but now you have company. So these first two, this is where mis and disinformation thrives. It thrives when we rush to reason, forcing logic while disregarding feelings that don't fit within our version of the truth. And it thrives when we wallow without regard for progress or curiosity, when our own emotion is seeking validation and we cling to the first voice that breaks through the noise. We need an anchor so badly that we don't feel we have the luxury to ask questions or notice that it's just an echo. Maybe you recognize folks in these first two spaces. Maybe you recognize yourself. I know I've spent time in both. This is where a lot of our politics reside, in spaces rife with certainty, but absent of curiosity and empathy, where emotion or logic reign, but they don't play together. So sometimes there's a third way. If you're lucky, you find somebody who is curious, someone who sees you, who lets you feel, and who asks questions. Why do you think that? What do you think is the driver behind that thought? They care enough to push back and offer a different reality. All of that may be possible, but what do you think is likely? What experience have you had that might tell you otherwise? What else is operating in this space? They operate your emotion and help you navigate to a place of logic. This is where progress lies, not in logic alone, not in emotion alone, but in alignment, balanced by curiosity and empathy. Curiosity and empathy are our most powerful ways of caring for others. It's how we signal that we take someone seriously, and it's central to getting us unstuck, to dispelling the fear and desperation that traps us in mis and disinformation. But it's so easy to overlook, to forget that we can be empathetic without being prescriptive, that we can affirm someone's rights to feelings without agreeing with them, that we can lead someone out of a place that we're not willing to go into. Curiosity and empathy are key to balancing it all. And we're able to realize that, we begin to see a way forward. We see this in exam rooms every day. Our providers aren't just handing someone a pamphlet and listing options. They're listening. They're asking questions. They're untangling misinformation with facts while honoring lived experiences. Maybe someone's own history, maybe something that happened to a friend, maybe a fear shaped by culture or stigma. They're helping someone navigate real concerns about side effects, cost, privacy, control. And together, they're finding out what works best for that individual without shame, without judgment, and without assuming that there's only one right answer. That is curiosity and empathy at work. Logic provides the options. Empathy creates the conditions for trust. And trust is what allows people to make informed decisions about their own bodies. This is also what we hope for when we think about abortion, that we can hold empathy for another person's circumstances, even when they differ from our own. that we can recognize how fear, pressure, love, responsibility, and uncertainty shape decision-making, and that we can offer accurate information by giving people the space they need to weigh facts and emotions together. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. It doesn't require certainty or agreement. It requires humility, the understanding that each individual should have full autonomy to make decisions about their own health and their own bodies. When curiosity and empathy guide us, we don't lose truth, we make it usable. And that's where real care, real trust, and real progress begin. So I want to close where I began, with Free EC. We launched that program 1 year after Roe v. Wade was overturned. It was born out of fear and anger and grief. We were at our office, we were in this constant state of fearfulness about what was going to be happening next, and we were angry, oh so angry. And so we knew the statistics, but we also knew how people were feeling. So we asked a grounded, logical question rooted in empathy. What would actually help people feel less alone and more empowered? We hope to distribute 5,000 kits by the end of that first year. Instead, we distributed more than 15,000. It had blown us away how quickly people both wanted those kits and wanted to get involved. And we saw community everything being quickly rooted in community. A year later, research showed us a 24% increase in the number of Missourians who knew that emergency contraception was legal, because communities like yours chose to step into uncertainty and curiosity and care. So thank you for being the kind of community willing to do that, to choose curiosity and empathy over certainty, to balance emotion with logic, not to dilute either, but to make both more honest. Thank you for helping us move forward together.
Thank you, Michelle. This community is so grateful for your wisdom and your expertise, for your relentless advocacy, and frankly, for Beacon's partnership and just centering through empathy and care for Missourians. I did not realize that the EC Kit project started in 2023. We began our partnership with you at that time, so it sounds like we were very close to the start, and thank you for leading the way in compassion. Okay. At the Ethical Society of St. Louis, our mission shapes everything we do, from Sunday platforms to youth programs, music, service, and partnerships in the wider community. Our work is sustained through the generosity of our members and friends, and today's collection supports the ongoing life of the Ethical Society and allows us to continue offering our programs, gatherings, and opportunities to live our values together. Most members of our community support the Ethical Society through regular monthly giving or through an annual gift. If you would like to contribute in person today, the collection baskets that these fine folks will pass along and the QR code on the screen are simple ways to participate. Every contribution helps bring our mission to life. If you would like to stay connected to our community, we invite you to subscribe to our weekly newsletter for updates on upcoming programs, service opportunities, and ways to get involved. And now you're going to hear a multitude of ways that you can get involved in the life of our community in this month. First, you may have noticed the new art exhibit that is up in the gallery. You can join us today after platform at 12:30 in the foyer for a reception for our new artist, Christy Griffin. Coffee and holiday treats will be served. The Uganda Humanist Schools Trust fundraising team is still hard at work, fundraising to provide annual boarding scholarships for 36 female students and a year's supply of reusable menstrual products for nearly 2,000 learners. If you've not contributed to this effort and you would like to, now's the time. We're going to wire all donations on January 15th to time up with the start of the Ugandan school year. You can write checks to the Ethical Society with UHST in the memo line, donate electronically, or connect with Rachel Jones for an ACH withdrawal. Thank you for your generosity and your support. You also can continue our partnership with Beacon Reproductive Health Network and come volunteer as part of the National Day of Service. So come back on Sunday, January 18th, 9:45 a.m. in the Hanky Room downstairs to pack 1,000 free EC and safer sex supply kits. We'll have seated and standing volunteer opportunities, and this is a great way to make a new friend while doing good in the world. Next Sunday, January 11th, we encourage you to stick around in the auditorium after platform for Exploring the Ethical Society with Claire Alexander. We'll start with a quick tour of the building, share some insider insight into ethical society traditions, events, and lingo, and spend time connecting with staff and longtime members who love answering any questions that you might have. It's designed with newer members and visitors in mind, but all curious folks are welcome to join. The Ethical Good Deeds team is hosting a happy hour with space for 10 Ethical Society volunteers to write thank you notes for donors supporting the Missouri Abortion Fund. If you would like to join on Wednesday, January 14th from 5:30 to 7 p.m. at Maxine Stone's Central West End condo, please email Allison Heil or Maxine Stone. Allison is here today too. I saw her. You can make your way over. Yeah, oh, and there's Maxine at the back. They're both waving at me like, hello, Crystal, we're right here. Sorry. Justice Choir St. Louis is a radically inclusive community choir based here at the Ethical Society, amplifying the work of local justice movements through partnership performance. Join the choir on Wednesday, January 14th from 6 to 9 p.m. for an energizing, low-pressure evening of music making and community building. Attendees will get the chance to meet like-minded music lovers and learn standard repertoire from the Justice Choir songbook, making it easy for attendees to step into performances later this year. There's no audition, no commitment, you just show up and sing. And you can reach out to Claire Alexander with any questions. Deep breath, we're still going. Okay. Epicurean dinners are small quarterly dinner groups for Ethical Society members who want to build deeper connections over good food. Groups rotate hosting in one another's homes and are matched by schedule and dietary needs. If you're an Ethical Society member and you'd like to participate, please sign up by January 30th using the link in the weekly email newsletter. The Stewardship Committee reminds you that we're looking for donors to make a commitment to the matching fund for the 2026 pledge campaign. All pledge increases will be matched, and the money from the matching fund will go towards the compensation of a new leader. If you're interested in being a matching fund donor, you can send an email to the Stewardship Committee at the email address shown on the slide, or it was on the slide before, or click on the QR code to make a commitment. And if you've already contributed to the matching fund, the Stewardship Committee extends our deepest appreciation. Thanks, y'all. I was not exaggerating when I said there's a lot happening at this place. Happy New Year. Okay, finally, please join me in welcoming Mike Engelhardt back for his last selection of the day, Life is Worth Living.
All right, this is another karaoke number. This song is about what the title says, life is worth living, and my realization after years of journey that life is worth living, love is worth giving, tears are worth crying, and joy is worth finding. Okay, Bear. Life is worth living, love is worth giving, tears are worth crying, joy is worth finding. even worth it. You're looking for answers now. A small little distant sound, a voice that is hidden deep, deep down says life is worth living, love is worth giving, tears are worth crying, joy is worth finding. Inside something's rising, you're looking for purpose now. You're searching much further out. You're finding your path and learning how. Life is worth living. Love is worth giving. Tears are worth crying. Joy is worth finding. Worth living. Love is worth giving. Tears are worth crying. Joy is worth finding. No, nothing's gonna bring me down. No, nothing's gonna bring me down. Nobody gonna stop me now. Nobody gonna stop me now. No, nothing's gonna bring me down. No, nothing's gonna bring me down. Nobody gonna stop me now. Nobody gonna stop me now. No, nothing's gonna bring me down. No, nothing's gonna bring me down. Nobody gonna stop me now. Nobody gonna stop me now. Tears are gonna bring me down. Nobody gonna bring me down. Joy. Nobody gonna stop me now. Nobody gonna stop me now. Nothing's gonna bring me down. Nobody gonna bring me down. Nobody gonna stop me now. Nobody gonna stop me now. Nothing's gonna bring me down. Nobody gonna bring me down. Nobody gonna stop me now. Nobody gonna stop me now. Life is worth living. Thank you.
That was so great. Thank you. Thank you to Michelle for exploring how emotion and logic come toward and together in sexual and reproductive health care. Today's conversation reminded us that care, evidence, and human dignity all have a role to play in ethical decision-making. And thank you, Mike, for sharing your original music that invited us to listen, reflect, and engage in our own ways this morning. And thank you to everybody who showed up and brought your presence and attention to our time together. As we continue our Seeking Truth series in the months ahead, we are grounded in a shared commitment to reason, evidence, and careful thinking. And at the same time, ethical humanism encourages us to stay open to lived experience, to perspectives that challenge us, and ideas that may stretch or unsettle us. That kind of openness is not always easy, but it's essential if we're going to learn and grow together. After platform, we invite you to join us downstairs for coffee and conversation, and you'll find opportunities to connect more deeply with one another and with the work of this community. And as you go into the week ahead, may you listen with curiosity, care, and openness, and remember that seeking truth is something we practice in conversation, community, and daily life. I wish you a year filled with joy and good purpose and a wonderful week. Thank you for being here.